Let's queer up politics. Maine House Speaker blasts liberal white women for focusing on LGBTQ plus issues and ignoring racial problems. In her most recent public speaking opportunity since she told her supporters to storm the Capitol on Juneteenth, Maine House Speaker Rachel Talbot Ross blasted liberal Democrat white women for prioritizing niche LGBTQ plus issues over her preferred race-related issues. In racially charged remarks at Bates College in Lewiston on Thursday, Talbot Ross complained that Maine Democrats and the media demonized her for fighting for racial justice and used racial minorities as talking points to advance a white liberal agenda. Speaker Talbot Ross said she appreciates that the state legislature made extraordinary advances in LGBTQ plus rights, but she does not see how it shows up for racial justice. She said, quote, "You cannot say it's intersectional if really what you mean is that LGBTQ rights is a proxy for white LGBTQ," end quote. Ross's comments came at the Maine Department of Health and Human Services Office of Population Health Equity's first annual Health Equity Conference. Talbot Ross mostly played it safe. But her spicier points came during the question and answer period afterward, when the visibly emotional Portland native delivered a racially charged rant about the failure of liberal white women in the Democratic Party to support her agenda. All right, so some people may not like what I have to say.
Ooh, then say it.
Go for it.
But I totally, coming from wearing black and brown skin first, totally understand her point here. I totally get her point here, that there is an intersectionality, and sometimes even with the LGBTQ plus agenda or movement, sometimes, a lot of the times, black and brown folks fall at the back. And her attacking liberal white women, I mean, Martin Luther King said it in his letters to Birmingham, honey. Sometimes the people that are against racial progression is the liberal white person.
Bonnie, I'm curious. I heard loud and clear. Do you agree with that?
Well, a white woman got on my nerves today, so yes, I do agree.
Was her name Karen?
Well, right.
Karen, Mabel, Gertrude, I don't know.
You're not
I don't
alone
care
at the
what it
table.
was.
You're not alone at the table in that annoyance.
Yeah, she's no longer with us. So, I'm kidding. I don't give a damn where she is.
Is that what you needed the shovel for, Bonnie? You could have told me.
Well, so, fuck her. So anyway, I do agree begrudgingly because like this lady sort of sucks, but she's making points. But I think she's making the point not because she truly means it, but because she has an agenda that she's trying to push and it's anti-queer, but it's pro-race. But does she really mean it? I don't know. I don't know how to feel, but she's right. But also like she can suck a dick. I don't know how to feel about it, but she's making valid points. We are put in the back of a lot of queer issues. When it's brought to the media, the face is usually a white person or a lighter complexion person. And when we're brought to the forefront, it becomes a race issue, not a queer issue, but we are also queer. But we're black first. I don't know how to feel about it. There's a lot going on.
I know everyone's going to continue in on making observation here, but please allow me to refine this a little bit. First, I want to talk about black community on LGBT. This is a straight black woman observing on LGBT. One of the things that I have learned, I've tried to be better in my understanding on race issues, both inside LGBT and outside LGBT. One of the things that I have been educated on a lot is how poorly the black community itself is on LGBT. And black church, and how especially black males have been treated in community. Isn't this, don't I hear a bit, and because that's what I just heard a little bit from you, that this is an issue of black community on pounding on LGBT.
Yeah, black people don't want to
hearing
be demonized, but then they demonize the queer people. And as both, like, where do we fall in that?
Okay, and I'm asking, where is it?
And also, and also, the issues that black queer people or black LGBTQ plus people really face are racial issues. Usually they are tied hand in hand. So it's very hard to get behind certain movements and certain agendas when it's like, girl, we've been sitting over here talking about housing for a minute. Girl, we've been sitting over here talking about healthcare for a minute. And this is a black issue because of the huge socioeconomic and racial disparities that exist within America. So it's very difficult to separate ourselves completely from being black and to align, because yes, the black community has its own things, its own homophobia, but also, we're still thrown at the back of the bus when it comes down to LGBTQ plus issues. I just was at a conference where, did you know that most of the transgender data does not include black trans people at all? Most of the data
the
out
national
there,
data that's out there.
most of the data that they spit and spew do not include black trans people in the data.
I put it out there in terms of black community and how they treat LGBT. It's a micro focus. What do you think about when I call Maine House Speaker Talbot Ross out and say, wait, focus on the black community and how you're treating LGBT before you focus on Democratic white women on LGBT. Focus on your own house first. What do y'all think about that? I'm saying that.
It's out there now. You said it, but
what do you think?
I don't know. I don't necessarily agree on it, because a lot of the white women can be part of the racial issue, so it might be hard to remove them from that.
I'm talking about somebody like Talbot Ross in the black community, how the black community treats their LGBTQ.
I'm gonna be frank. Actually, I'm gonna be Bonnie. So having a non-black person tell a black person deal with the black community doesn't always come off smoothly, because we are in these black households, and we hear the rhetoric, we hear our mothers and grandmothers, aunts. My own grandmother didn't come to my wedding because I was marrying a man. So like, these things are already in the forefront and we're already dealing with it. I do think that Talbot Ross is using this as an agenda point to like further her whatever the fuck she got going on. But like, in our household, it's something that we're already dealing with. So no disrespect to you, and no, it's no disrespect to me, but like, it's just, it doesn't come off smoothly to hear that from a non-black person.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And you agree with that?
Same. Yeah. Totally.
All right.
Totally
So
agree.
who in the black community is going to say it?
I think there's a lot of us in the black community saying it. I mean, me, myself. Hi.
And for a while.
And for a while, and for a while, there's enough of us speaking up for accountability within the black community. But also as we are LGBTQ plus, as we do sit under that umbrella, we're like, where are we at the table as well? Seriously, we are left out of a lot. We're an afterthought. We are a complete afterthought. It's not until you've seen things like Pose and Legendary, and we've actually had light shined on us. It's like, oh, that's what goes on with black LGBTQ folks. Then it's like, oh, we can pour our resources, but I always see it as.
And then they forget after that's over, they forget. Like BLM.
Is that a criticism inside the community, LGBT community, or outside?
That's inside as well. Yeah, that's a very inside criticism, because it's like, oh, we see the value now.
Yeah, our moms, our parents are like, oh, I was watching Pose and now I see what the black gays are going through. It's like, you had a black gay in your house the whole time.
You had
what I was going through.
First womb experience.
Exactly.
Listen, my mother-in-law is a Trumper, and during BLM, she was like, wow, the United States really treated black people wrong. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I was like, oh my God, lady.
So, speaking as a full-on white cisgender person, yeah, right? What's the term? What am I?
Got it.
What am I?
That's it,
we
know
need
what
to
you
do.
are.
I have words for you, but I'm not going to say it. But we've been saying this for a long time also. We need to do better. We need to do better. We need to do better. And I think that also there's a perception and a misperception as people of color, black and brown people get into higher leadership positions in big organizations. For example, Kiara at
Task
Force, and other people, many. The misperception is that, oh, we're doing better with black and brown people because look, these people are leading. And that's not the case, because the people that I believe you're talking about getting shoved to the back are not people in positions of power. No. And these are the people, if we're not, and you know, as the Dr. Martin Luther King said, or was it someone else who said it, if we're not taking care of the most disenfranchised, we're not taking care of everybody, or anybody. Yeah. So we all have to do better. And
can I add another potentially offensive question?
Please, I would love it.
She gets to the cradle, can't be dismissed. She gets to the cradle that she goes, LGBT rights, I'm paraphrasing for her, are okay, but if you get to, and then I'm not paraphrasing, these are exact words, the proxy for white LGBTQ plus. Now, what she is saying is LGBTQ rights are fine as long as it's just not a proxy universally accepting LGBTQ rights. Who is empowered to say to any group in America as they focus on LGBTQ rights what is right or wrong? She's doing exactly what she's saying we shouldn't do. Mm-hmm. Or am I getting that wrong?
No, you're not. No. Not at all.
Well, isn't
no, you have she's trying to get it on every. So she's trying to have her cake and eat it too. I mean, because she's just really coming at it from every angle you can. It's just like throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks, as it were. Yeah. But I mean, I disagree. I mean, I disagree with some of her, but I really agree with a lot of what she says. I can see it. That I mean, I see it how it plays out.
Yeah.
She uses the word, intersectionality. She throws that word in. She's smart in using buzzwords that capture a certain ear.
Mm-hmm. It's not offensive to you as the ear where the main speaker is saying, as opposed to calling out white Democratic women on their positions of race, she calls out white Democratic women on their positions of LGBT as opposed to focusing on race. That's not offensive to you?
I think because through her lens, she sees where, oh girl, you're protecting your child, your gay son, because they, okay, being frank, being Jamal. She's literally saying, can you see what y'all are doing? You're putting your whiteness first, as always. It doesn't matter what section it comes into, LGBTQ, immigration, it doesn't matter.
Women, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You push, just like feminism has been overtaken by white women, and black women are like, have fleed to another place called womanism. Because they don't align with feminism. So the same with LGBTQ, a lot of black queer people are running away from LGBTQ. They can't stand the term, they can't stand the alphabet because they're like, where do I fit in? Because we haven't fit in for so long with the major issues that affect us in our socioeconomic status and our background in our blackness, because it is still essential to who we are as well. So I get her lens. She's basically saying they just doing this because white folks is in there. If it was LGBTQ and it was all black folks, they wouldn't, she's saying they wouldn't say a word. They wouldn't move a flinch.
And to that point, I gotta sort of call out Queer News Tonight. There's a major controversy going on in entertainment with T.S. Madison, who we're all familiar with. She is currently battling with a very prominent heterosexual black woman comedian, Jess Hilarious, who says some very disparaging comments about the trans community. And it's getting a lot of traction, but it's not at this table. And maybe if we had more black people all up and through here, maybe that would have hit the screen. But we just gotta like check our privileges and biases when it comes to that. Yeah. Stuff like that.
Unconscious bias.
Exactly. Because I figured that would be one of the headlines, but like it's getting up there. Like
you should have sent it in then, Mama.
I don't know how to work a computer. I was busy brushing this wig.
I know that took a long time. Next time you send it to me, I'll make sure.
Thank you. There are 2 units in this. Go ahead.
All right, let's
one
move
thing
on.
The white
The one
presenting
thing
girl, and
that's
she'll get it in for you.
interesting in this
Send it to the
story
white presenting girl, and she'll get it in for you.
We've got so much work still to do.
Yes, we do.
And when we're having this conversation, I don't understand why everyone is not in riotous,
Rage.
up in arms rage about who is running for president of the United States, how the state of Florida is being run. I don't understand because we got so far to go, and we're focusing on
Yeah. I do love the production team. I do love everyone here. I just want to throw that out there. I do love you guys so very much.
She's not on the schedule anymore.
Y'all will never see me. You'll never see me again.
We love you, Bonnie. We love you.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ plus evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ plus community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.